All right, so we are live now. Let me open up the um, the chat. So say something so I know that the sound is configured correctly.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Okay, great. So you see now I can hear myself, and I can hear myself through your microphone, through your like headphones or earphones or whatever it is.
That is really weird because I have earphone on.
Yeah,
It
I
doesn't.
don't know what it is.
How did the sound input?
Never mind. We'll figure it out. Um. Okay, so what are we okay, so this is up. One thing I do want to do is I want to tweet this out. So let's do that. Okay. All right. Cool. So we are live. Um we kind of lost track of the numbers of episodes, right? What number are we on?
26.
Dude, you're in a different planet. We're like in at least 31.
31? Really?
Yeah. Um,
Yeah. I
Hi,
lost
people in
track.
the chat room. Axmat and Canned TEGH. Welcome. Um, so let's start at 30 and see how it goes. But let's keep track.
Let's
All
call
right.
it 30.
So
Let's call it 30.
let's do that. All right. So hello and welcome to episode number 30 of the Fullstack Network. Today we are going to continue working. Well, we don't really know what we're gonna do today, but we're either gonna help one of our viewers or work on the Mac app that we started working on yesterday, or do some Python. So we'll see. It's a fluid plan. So we'll see how it goes. All right. So first things first, Matt on Twitch, which is, Matt is a member of our Discord community. Um, we have a community where people ask questions, and yeah, we're going to do something exactly. So Matt is a member of our Discord, and he asked for help with Node.js project. So I thought it's gonna be a nice thing to do to help out. So Matt, if you're here, then let us know what you need help with. Um, all right, you're here. All right, so let's you know, let's jump on the call. Let me join you on the call here, and so I'm calling you on Skype, and you can explain what's your issue. Is that you? TTAM? Is that Matt? TTAM? Which one is Matt on Skype? It's
Um,
CTAM, right? Yes, it is. All right. Add people, Matt. All right, I'm adding you on Skype.
Hello.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, how are you?
Good, good. Good evening. How are
hello.
you?
Hey, how are you? Good.
All right. So
Hi, Matt.
Hey, Seven.
we have Stevens and Matt with us, And so you wanna, Matt, you wanna explain your problem?
Yeah. So I guess kind of one of my main issues is like how do I explain this? SQL relationships, I guess, is probably like one of my big things. Is like you saw my code in the Discord. I had like a bunch of queries just to build up to like one, just to get something out of one table, and I feel like I shouldn't be doing that. It took me like four queries to get like the proper ID to like
Exactly.
get one thing.
Yeah. So do you
Right.
have the code posted online?
Um, I can post the all the queries, the whole router.post thing if you want.
Right.
On
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's. Can you create a
all right.
gist with that, or
Yeah.
something
Hold
with
on.
like a snippet, and then we can look at that. In the meantime, people in the chat room, welcome. I don't know if this is your first time here, or not. If it is, welcome. If it's not, then you know what we do. So welcome back, I guess.
Would you like me to post it in Skype
No,
or
create a
just
gist or like a
right? But I mean, where do you want me to post the link?
Oh yeah, just put it on the chat in Twitch.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. All right, so that's the one, and that's the one we were looking at in the chat earlier
Right.
as well, right? So you have a router.post game category edit, and then you have a select ID from games where nickname is something. Then you pass in the game ID. And then you do select ID
Oh,
from categories where category equals something.
this
And
is actually the wrong one.
all right,
Well,
let's just update that one,
okay.
and let me know when I can refresh.
Uh, I don't know how to update.
You can do edit and then
Oh, there we go. Edit.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's very similar, but hold on.
No worries. Just let me know when I can refresh.
Uh, copy.
In the
Oh
meantime,
no.
while people are here, this is a good time to, if you know a subreddit, or it's a good time to tweet this out or share on Facebook or anything similar to get more people that we can help here. So feel free to do that. So let me know when
Okay,
I
you
can
can
refresh.
refresh.
All right, so I can refresh now. Great. So then nickname, and then so it seems like it was added another level or something. All right, so
Oh, did I? Oh, yeah, I might have.
game contents, where, and then game contents dot game categories ID something something. All right, so
Yeah.
let me try to sketch out what we have here. And you stop me if I'm not reading the map correctly, right? So we have a game, and then we
Right.
have a category,
Right.
and game basically has many.
Many categories.
Right.
Right.
All
So
right.
there's many games, and then within each game is many categories.
Obviously, right. So now the part that I don't understand, is the part about. Oh, there's a glare here on the left side. I'll see what I can do about it in a bit. So the game has many categories. The part that everything falls apart for me, and the part where I don't understand, is where is the content here?
Okay, so so like I said, every game has multiple categories,
Yeah.
and every single one of those categories has content.
Yeah.
What the website is supposed to be is a guide, is like a guide for every single category in every single game.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and it's based off Zelda games. So
So
like let's say we
so the content is basically just text as a guide to the game and the category.
Right, for that one category for that one game.
For that one category for that one specific game.
Right, but there could be, like we said, multiple categories in that one game.
And that content is not specific to the game. It's specific to the game
It's
and the
specific
category.
to the category in the game, right?
Okay. Okay.
So
All right. So great. So here's I how I would do it, and I want to emphasize a few things that are bad here. Um, One thing that is bad from the first here, and we're not gonna mention the obvious of working with SQL in the controllers, which we talked about already in the past, right? So let's not state the obvious. Let's talk about the things that are not obvious.
Oh, you're talking about this function. The router.get function should actually be in a controller. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is it doesn't matter. It's like this shouldn't be here. Like SQLize.query, you should work with a model, right? You shouldn't have a query. You shouldn't write a query. You should do like game.findBy nickname and then passing the nickname. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
what
I was gonna do that, but I didn't know how to do it. Like
No,
I tried.
but what I'm saying is this is obvious. So I'm not going to talk about
Right.
that because you already know that and we already talked about that and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
on.
I just couldn't figure it out how to do it with SQLize.
That's all right. So one thing that is already kind of scratching your left ear with your right hand, sort of thing. It's like like this, is you pass a game here, but this is the nickname of the game, and then you get the game ID. Now,
Right.
first question I would ask here is why would you not pass the game ID into the controller and then work with that game ID instead of searching for because the ID is already indexed in the database by default. The nickname is likely not indexed. And it's not a problem on that scale. It's like it feels ridiculous to do that, but still, you need the ID. Why not pass the ID into this controller or into this route, and then work down the path with that, which will already remove this level.
Wait, I don't understand what you're talking about.
All right, so here you pass game, right?
On what line? Because you're shooting behind. Oh wait, can I look on Skype? Oh yeah, you have it open.
Yeah,
My
you
bad.
can look on Skype.
Okay, sorry.
All right,
Go
so
ahead.
here you pass in game and you pass in category.
Right.
Right. What I'm saying is, why not pass? And let me copy this. Where is it? Let me copy this and let's do here. Let me do just a second. So let's do sample.js here. Paste this in. I'm going blind. All right, so we have this here, right? So you pass in a game and then a category. So first thing that is wrong here, and I'm gonna tear this code apart line by line. And first thing here is that if you're passing a game nickname, then what I would do is I would call this game nickname and call this category name, right?
Okay.
Not just like game, because game is the object. So if it was game ID, I would pass in game ID here, right? So first of all, your naming is a bit off here. The second thing is that you need, right? So let's talk about the code here. You need the game ID and you need the category ID, right? That's all you need.
Right.
Now, my question is, why not pass game ID and category ID here, and then have like this? So const game ID and category ID equals to request. So like so, right? And then so I will be with the people in the chat room in a minute. I can see it like flickering here on my right eye. And then you don't need this part, and you don't need this part because you already have the game ID and the category ID.
Yeah, but where do I get the game ID and category ID from?
You pass them from the form. So instead of passing the game name and the category name, you pass the IDs around.
Wait, from the form?
Yeah, so the form is
What are you talking
doing
about?
so the form is doing post to, I don't know, Zelda any edit, right?
Right.
Right. So what I'm saying is don't do this. Do like 111, 123, edit. Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, the first two queries we're supposed to take the IDs for the from the nicknames from the
Dude,
from the URL bar.
leave the queries, right? I'm not talking about the queries. So all of this is currently not relevant. I don't give a shit about that, okay?
Okay.
So all I give a shit about now is literally this line. What I'm saying is before, what you had is this. Right? You know what? Let's do that. So this is avi.js, and this is your code untouched. Okay?
Okay.
So this is my code on the right side, and this is your code on the left side.
Right.
All right? So what you do is you do post to, I don't know, say Zelda, any, or what? Give me like a different category. Zelda, what's like a speed run?
Yeah, there's one called like glitchless, like a category.
Glitch list?
Yeah, no glitchless, like no glitches.
Glitchless?
Yeah.
All right. So you do post Zelda glitchless and then edit, right?
Right.
Now Zelda in your specific database, say the ID of it is 85, right? And then glitchless,
right?
the ID of it is 12.
Right.
What you do here is all you do is you get the 85 and you get the 12. So up until here, all you do is you get the 85 and you get the 12. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Yeah. So what I'm saying, instead of passing this, you pass this. So you pass 85, 12, and then edit. So then here you will have a game ID and a category ID, edit, and then var const game ID and category ID equals request.params. And then where am I with the category ID? So then this is here and this is gone. All right, because I already have the game ID and the category ID.
Oh, okay. So you're saying is just instead of using the actual nickname, like Zelda and glitchless, do it by IDs in the URL.
Exactly. And then don't even query for those. Use the IDs you have for the underlying queries.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. But wouldn't it just be like what I was doing before? All I'm doing is in the first two queries is just going from the nickname to the ID in the query. I'm just swapping it over. Right?
Yes.
So that's bad to do because wouldn't I want the URL bar to be like readable, like Zelda / the category / I mean, that's what I thought because I thought that would like look neater.
So it can go both ways, right? Because you can do that if you had something called how do I want to call it? Let me see. Something called a slug, right? So if you could say that a game and a category had a slug, and a slug would be something like I don't know, Zelda. Give me a name of a game. I don't know, something.
Wind Waker.
Just a second. I'm like satisfying some people in the chat. All right, so give me a name. Give me a game with like two with names with a space. Is it like
Wind Waker?
Wind Waker, something like this, right?
Right.
All right, great.
Yeah.
So first of all, you have a problem here, because here, if you pass in the URL, this would become this in the URL, which is already like against your case as a readable URL. What I would do is I would say, okay, so this is one Wind Waker. This is the slug. And then the category would be 12. Whoops, what happened? Here, glitchless. And then here, you put game slug and category slug. And then you do that with them. But still, what I'm saying is that my argument against your argument would be that in your case, it doesn't really matter. Because this is meant to be a post, and you just post that URL, and then you're probably supposed to be redirected somewhere else. So I would definitely work with the IDs with no problem at all. But I mean,
this is a get.
All right, that doesn't matter. It's the same thing, right? So this is the get for the form, but it doesn't, it doesn't matter.
Right.
What I'm saying, it's the same case, whether it's the post or whether it's the get. And what I'm trying to say here is that, it's like I'm saying something and then you get too much into the specifics of what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this: look, if I can pass into this controller data that I already know is good data and that I don't need to query for it here and here, it's a gain.
Right. But it's also lost because your URL bar doesn't look as good.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if you but look, it's two different things. Because if you say, hey, URL vars are important to me, so we would design the system around that the URL vars will be friendly, right? Because here's the deal, right? This is the previous company that I worked for. So let's go here, /Paris/hotels. I still remember the URLs. So I don't know. Let's do this, right? So let's open up this, and where is it? So let's view the reviews here. All right, cool. So look at this. This is a URL. So let me copy this here. And then this is a URL. You see? So it's Paris, and then hotels, and then the West in Paris something. I don't know.
Right.
But this, in the backend system, is translated to an ID.
Right, which is what I'm doing in my first two queries on the left.
Yes. But what I'm saying is this is something that should be done on a higher level. Not every time in every controller. So almost like this should be, but again, let me back up for a second. First, you need to understand whether you care about that or not, whether you care about the readability of URLs or not. If you care about,
I think in this case I do.
All right, so if you do care about that, so let's take a step back. So you do care about that. So if you do care about that, let's talk about it. So if you do care about that, then you have a game and then a nickname and then a category. Well,
actually, I can easily combine the first two queries into one.
You can, but this would be my next thing. But then you have game categories. So first, what I don't understand is game is many to many. So what this does is essentially many queries, right? Select ID from categories where category equals. Okay, so this is category. All right, and then this one, here, and then you do the game 0 ID and category 0 ID.
Right. So I put both those IDs together to get the game category ID in my game category table.
Yeah.
So now that I have the game category table, I know like where I'm going to in terms of the content, since I have the game and the category.
Yeah. All right. So let's go back to Twitch because the people are getting antsy, and then I'll be back. All right. So let's look at Twitch here. Amit, hi, welcome back. How are you? Why are you using get for edit? Shouldn't be the post. So get is edit for the form. So this will basically render the form.
Right.
So it does not change as the resource. He's not making changes, just rendering an edit page. Yes, if you look at the queries, they're all select. and then he does rest.render. Yes. So in my opinion, you should plan a basic course to continue this question. Okay, I don't know. Unrussell Jimmy's, are you still here? Because I see you asked the questions, but I don't see you here anymore. So, well, what are you gonna do? He lost interest in me. Let's see if he's here. All right, so let's see if he's still.
I don't mind doing the extra query to get from the ID to the nickname, or from the nickname to the ID in the URL bar. Like that part, I'm totally okay with.
Well,
even though it's an extra query.
Well, you should mind. First of all, this code looks horrible, and second of all, you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4 queries to get one thing.
Right, but I can literally make this into 2 queries.
But no, but what I'm saying is, even before that, let's talk about the schema here. What I would do is I would say that the game. So I would make this has many table a metadata table instead of just a linker. And then this table would be this. It would be a game ID, so GID, and it would be a category ID, and then it would be content. Right?
Wait, explain that one more time.
So you have a many-to-many relationship between a game and a category. And that many-to-many relationship has extra detail, which is content.
Right.
So what I'm saying, instead of having another table for the contents, which is called game contents.contents, where game contents
right.
whatever, I would put that on the same table here.
As game categories, right?
As game categories, and then the game category will have a content.
Right, which is exactly what I told the people that told me to make it. People were like, you need to make a new table and then just put the game category's unique ID into the game which I didn't understand, because I'm like, if I have a game category which has both the game and the category, why don't I just put the content next to it?
Yeah, and you should join that. You should join all of them. So you should join the game ID, and then so all of this should be one query.
Right.
So I don't have that. SQL is such a hard query to to visualize, but it would be something like select. It wouldn't be star, but let's say star from, and then it would be games, categories, and game categories, right? And then I would join categories on games.id equals categories.gameid. So join categories on categories.gameid equals to games.id, and then
also when I get rid of the game category table, or no, sorry, the game content table, that'll also get rid of that last query.
Yeah, exactly. It
because
gets rid of
it'll
that.
be in the game category, right?
Yes, but also everything, all of this should be one query.
Right. Yeah, selecting the IDs and the nicknames, and then also getting the game categories from that.
Yeah, but
should just be one query.
All you need is the nickname here. So you would do again. So let me go back here. So this is select star from games categories and game categories, and then here join categories on categories.gameid, and another join with games categories dot category ID equals to categories dot ID.
Right.
And game categories dot category ID equals to categories dot ID. So this is ID. And where games dot nickname equals to this. So then all of this is gonna be here.
Wait, where games dot nickname is what
Is
is whatever you pass in.
yeah, whatever this, the replacement here, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So I don't have the database, or I would like this is a pseudo query. If I had a database, I would give you the exact query, but it's
Right.
something similar to this, right?
Right.
Which is basically joining all the tables that you need. So never do more than one. It's gonna be a problem.
Right. Well, I think my main issue was I was making like too many relationships deep.
Yeah.
So I had to, like, it was just a pain. Like, I
Yeah.
had to get this to get this to get this, and like, etc.
Yeah.
So, but
Right.
Hmm.
But again, the thing is, you need to see what I would do is I would see how I do this with Sequelize, and then
and then not use raw
and then
queries.
not use raw queries in my controller. Yeah, and then
So this should
go.
be not in controller. You were saying this should be in the model.
So this should be in the controller, but the raw query should be nowhere. So this should be literally game dot find by something something dot join by something something. I don't know the exact.
Yeah, right. The sequelized version of the raw thing that we're doing. Right?
Exactly. And you
Which
need
should be.
So the rule is this: join everything. Query by. Why is Fullstack bot on again? My God. And then join everything. Query by game nickname, and category name. All right.
Right.
And let's see.
Okay, so instead of making multiple queries, just join everything that you need together, and then just start narrowing it down.
Exactly.
Huh. Yeah.
Exactly.
I need to start doing that because I know you can do like a bunch of queries in one query, and I know that's pretty difficult, but
yeah,
to start.
Phantom42, thank you for the follow.
Okay, so I'll definitely get rid of that table, and then I'll put all the data, onto the other one, which is what I was going to do in the first place until people told me not to.
Yeah, people. But anyway, I think you had too many tables and you were querying them in too many stages. So
right. That was my issue.
So even in your case, even in your case where you had that extra table, you could still query that in one query. And not
even if you have okay.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. Right. So I guess my next question would just be, I shouldn't have to go more than like, how deep does it go? Like, I don't know how to explain this. Maybe I'm just being an idiot. Like, how I was pretty much like three relationships deep.
One.
I guess in my SQL.
One.
I was only one.
No, you should go only one.
Right.
So
right. Which is like which is my games table, my categories table, and then my games category table. That's as deep as it should go, right?
Yes, but I mean it should only do one query.
Right.
So what I'm saying
I'm
is
talking about
when I say
dependencies of things.
Well, the dependencies of things, I would say it really depends, but I would say that a rule of thumb would be 2. It's really hard, when you scale to really do that. But I would say that in your case, 2 is more than enough. And when I say 2, it's usually with a linker table. So it could be games, categories, and the linker table. You know what I mean? So you had basically 4. So you had games, categories, game categories, and then the game category content or whatever.
Yeah, which I didn't understand.
Yeah, so that one wasn't needed at all. At all. I mean, yeah, usually a linker table should only have the IDs. It shouldn't even have an ID of its own. But in your case, I don't think it's true because it's more of a metadata table than a linker table.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
And really the telltale sign is this, right? So is where is it? Is this, right? It's like those nesting. It's like crazy.
Yeah, that's I knew when I saw that I was like, there's no way this is like normal. Like it shouldn't be this hard. It
No.
shouldn't be this dependent on other tables to get to this point.
No.
Right. Well, I knew that, but I couldn't figure out any other way to do it.
No, that's all
I
right.
knew that I knew I could take away the game content table and just put that in game categories.
Yeah.
Because that's just too much. Like there's no need for that. And then I knew that I could make the first and second query like into that second query, I guess, or into the third query.
Yeah.
Whatever. So I knew I could make it into one query. I just wanted to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Do you have time for one more question?
Yeah, of course. Mm-hmm.
It's on the WYSIWYG thing I was talking about, and I can't figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the content pages for all the categories are going to have the WYSIWYG editor that moderators can do, right? Well, I'll talk about we'll talk about the cleansing thing or whatever later, right?
Sanitizing. Yeah.
Like sanitizing. Let's not talk about that. Let's just I'm talking about the actual like getting this thing to work first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So basically, I'm trying to pull the contents from my WYSIWYG container or whatever. The stuff you type in, whatever. I guess you would call it a container.
Okay.
I'm trying to pull that and then put that in my backend as raw HTML, which I'm not sure how to do. Because then at a later date, if someone wants to edit that page, then I'm gonna pull that raw HTML, which would go back into the WYSIWYG editor to repopulate it.
Sure. So
then, yeah.
So now I'm on the whiteboard. So check out Twitch.
Okay.
So let's do the whiteboard. Where's my? There it is. Just a sec. Okay. So basically, if you are on, the client, so you have a form, right? So you have a username, and then you have your WYSIWYG, right?
Yeah.
Great. So then this is sent to the server, right? When you do
talking
post.
about yeah.
So here there's a form, and then the action is something, and then it's post to the server, right?
Right.
Great. So each of these has an ID or a name.
Each of
the fields in the form has an ID or a name. Right. So when you have a form, so you'll have form action equals something, and then method equals post, right? And then you have input type equal text, and then name equals username, and ID equals username, right? Something like that.
Right, and you use the name, and that's how you do the req.body.
Exactly. So it's like req.username. So it depends.
.body.
But it should be .body.username, and
right.
But if not, then it should be .params.username.
Right.
Okay.
See, the thing is that I tried doing that and it didn't work.
So you need to inspect the body and the params to see what you got, because something has to be there. So it's either your WYSIWYG doesn't have an ID or a name, or the underlying. So what happens is that this WYSIWYG is just like a fake. It's like a fake element, and what really is sent to the server is an underlying element that is hidden from the DOM.
Right.
So you need to find out what's the name of it. So in order to do that, just like go to your controller and console output.
Oh, I have it right here. Yeah. So
So
it's called editor. It's div ID equals editor.
no, so that's exactly the divs. Once you do the post, they're not there anymore. But it has an underlying hidden input in your form, and that's what's being sent to the server, not the div. Right?
I mean, I don't get it, but I
What
guess
what's
yeah.
your WYSIWYG editor? What's the name? We keeps
It's
a real
called-
real men drink from pink bottle. Yeah, they do. What is it called?
It's called Quill.js. Quilljs.com.
Quilt.
Quill. Quill.
Quill.
Like what you write with.
Okay. Powerful rich text editor. All right, good. Download, blah, 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 documentation. Great. Let's see the documentation. Quick start, script, quill, editor.
Right, I did that.
All right, that's what you did.
Do you want me to gist my what my
No,
HTML
that's
page
all
looks
right.
like?
No, that's all right.
Okay.
All right, so then method, you have a get content, a get length, and then form. What do we give here? So quill, send, form. Let's see what we have here. So editor and then text area. Revert to the documentation. I couldn't find examples. Right. There is now a form submit and autosave example in the quill. Let's see, form submit.
Yeah, that's the one I was looking at earlier.
Right,
It should
so
be like with
form
the
dot
picture
on
of Wally.
submit document input name. Yeah, that's what it is. So input
Yeah.
name about Jensen Strigify. Quill dot get content.
Well, the thing is that I can't just do the normal form way because I need to pull it out of the form as HTML and not as just raw text. Because when I repopulate it, it needs to be repopulated as HTML.
Yeah.
I couldn't find like anything.
Yeah, I can't find one either, but that doesn't mean there isn't.
Right.
All right, so we have this one, and then quill.on text change, and then change.compose with the delta. Change.compose. Change is new delta. Where is delta coming from? Delta is coming from here. Window.on before unload. There is unsaved changes. Okay, so seems like you need to have some sort of an event that is listening on the text change of this.
Right. Because the command I just posted in Skype right now,
Yeah. The
that
container. Yeah. The inner
right,
HTML.
that will get the HTML.
Yeah, but you need
I
to
figured that out.
put that. You basically need to put that into.
That needs to be on an event listener, right?
Yeah, you need to put that into something like. So you need to find your event listener that you need, and let's say you have an input in your form. You will have an input type equals hidden, and name equals editor content, ID equals editor content, right? And then you will have quill dot on some event that triggers on change. I don't know what it is, right?
Well, it's just gonna be a button, yeah.
No. That's the one that on the Quill editor. So like text change or, so let's go Quill events. Where is the events? API, content, selection, editor, events. There it is, events. So there is a text change, you see? So handler, delta, alt content, quill.on text change, and then delta, alt delta, and source. Source equals API, and API trigger, source equals user. Selection change, example, editor change, so on. Yeah, so you need the text change here. So something like this, right? So
what is that going to do?
So when the text changes, what you're going to do...
Meaning when you type stuff in, right?
Yeah, you're going to do document dot get element by ID of editor content, right? And then dot value, and you're going to put the quill dot container dot first child dot inner HTML. You see what I'm saying?
Into a variable?
It's not a variable. It's like this input, right? And then this, when you do a post, it will send it to your Gamester707. I'm with you in a second. So when you do a submit, then this will be sent to the server.
Right. And it'll be using the req.body still.
Yeah.
Because that's just going to be changing.
Yeah.
Until you send it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that this function, everything you've done so far is good, but this function will get the data from Quill into this input, and then this input, just by nature of the form, will be sent to your server.
Right. See, that's what I needed. That's what I knew I needed, but I didn't know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's the exact one that'll work that you're about to send me?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that exact one works. This is pseudocode, but it should work, yes.
Okay.
Right? You get the gist of it.
Right.
Right?
So what it's doing is just as you type in text, it's just going to keep changing.
Yeah, just going to keep changing that input variable, yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay?
Got it. Thank you.
All right, man. Talk to you.
All right, see ya. Thank you.
All right. So we are now in the chat room. Where is Wekeeps? Is Wekeeps still here? Wekeeps, are you still here? All right. Let's start going back to question. Gamester707. Hi, Kenso Dev. Hi. How do you deal with burnout?
Hello?
Did you get disconnected?
Yeah, you closed the whole thing.
Okay. So I'm answering questions now. All right. So
Sure.
how do you deal with burnout? So first of all, Gamester707, are you still even around? And I will answer that question. First, I think burnout is a real problem. And as we go about our career, burnout becomes the real problem and the real challenge with us as professionals. And the only way I know how to deal with burnout is this. First of all, you need to have something else in your life other than your career. It can be something. It could be a fitness goal. It can be racing. It can be running. It can be racing. As a race car driver. I don't know. But you need to have something else in your life that you care about deeply, rather than your career. And I have 3 kids and I have a family, and I have a wife and a dog and 3 kids. I'm like the cliche of a family man, but that doesn't, it's like that doesn't help you deal with burnout. What you need is something to relieve those stresses, and something to help you cope with all the junk that's building up in your brain during, just a daily day career grind. Um, so that's one, and the second is to only work diligently, about things that you find interesting. If you don't find it interesting, don't fucking do it. Just don't do it. It's hard. It's hard to do. It's easy to say. It's hard to do. But that's the way I deal with burnout. It's just I do only things I think contribute to the overall picture of my life and the overall picture of the company I work for. And if something is if I find something as bullshit, then it's bullshit. I just don't do it. I don't know if it helps, but I guess that's that. Okay, cool. So, what are your thoughts on the job market in the valley? So first of all, I will answer that question in a second. But what I want to do now, it's getting just a bit toasty in here, so I want to go turn on the air conditioner. So give me a second, and I'll be back in a flash. And I'm back. It was 78 degrees in my home office, man. It's crazy. Okay, so what are your thoughts on the job market in the valley? So it's complicated. All benchmarks would say that the job market is booming, but I think the job market is stagnating. Because what happens is that this area is getting so expensive to the point that companies have to pay so much just to match your living expenses. And often that doesn't match your experience. So companies are really, really frustrated about that. And I think a lot of companies are struggling to hire. And a lot of people are struggling to find jobs that will actually pay for the expenses to live in the valley. Living in the valley, whether you are, I don't know, if you are like a single guy, that live with roommates, I don't think it's that bad, but it's still way bad, way worse than any other place in the country. But for if you have kids and they go to schools, and I'm not talking about public schools, I'm talking about like daycares and stuff, it's just insane. So I think it's affecting everything else in the job market. And Gamester707, I hope I answered your question. Let me know if I did. Weekips, what are your thoughts on making yourself valuable for the future of the job market? For example, every high school college is now teaching programming. How can we make sure we're still valuable with the sudden influx of new programmers every semester and year from schools? It's a great question, and I will answer. So I try to be very, very, if you've seen this stream and I try to be very modest in the stream, and I try not to, I try not to talk about myself in a glorious way all that much. But you need to think about the job market as a layer cake, and when you think about it, right? If you think about the layer cake, there's a sponge, at the bottom that is like soaking with all the juices coming from the top, and then there's what I'm saying, that there's the top, there's just this top layer of chocolate. There's this delicious, and that's where you need to put yourself. when you put yourself there, it doesn't matter what happens below you. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what I'm saying is, if you're good, you don't give a shit if suddenly 1,000 mediocre engineers are added to the job market. It doesn't matter to you. It doesn't concern you, right? And you know, when I was looking for a job, when I quit my job back in February, I was really looking for, you know, a place that will use my talent. And what I, you know, told people is like, if you're looking for me to come work for you, and then you say I'm looking for an engineer, then that's not for me, right? If you can give the same task that you can give me to another person, then that's not the job for me. What I need is a job that will challenge my unique skills. And what you need to do is you need to develop those unique skills. And when you develop those unique skills, then it doesn't really matter to you how many people are, you know, getting into the job market. Because think about it. Like, if a year from now you'll have a year of experience, that's a year of experience that the new person doesn't have. So you need to use that to your advantage. Hope that helps. And I hope my answer satisfies you. And I missed who followed, so I'm sorry about that. Who was the one that followed? Shit, I missed it. Whoever it was, thank you, and I appreciate it a lot. And yeah, we talked about we talked about internships a lot. And yeah, I think internships is powerful and definitely should be pursued. Okay. So what do we want to do next? Hola, who's that? Roboctocat. Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. So here's what I thought we can do today. People in the chat room, let me know what you think. How many people do we have live right now, by the way?
26.
No, I see less.
I see 26.
Okay. Cool. So, first of all, if you're here for the first time, welcome. Here's something I thought is going to be fun today, and people in the chat room, let me know what you think about that. I have a task that is specific to my workplace, that, you know, is external enough that I can work on it on the stream, which is nice. And what I want to do, let me explain it, and then we'll kind of vote if you want to do it on the stream or not. Okay. So we have an AWS account, right? So AWS account. And we have a cluster of machines. Right? And then we have another cluster of machines in standby. So let's say here we have 100 machines, and here we have 0. What we want, all the traffic is now going to this cluster, right? What we want is we want to scale up this cluster to 100, wait for this cluster to be healthy, and then exit the program, or basically redirect the traffic. So now then this becomes the traffic, and then this becomes 0. Right? So this basically does Python, Shelled Lizard 4. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it a lot. SpongeBob appreciate it too. So so this is Python and AWS APIs, and it touches auto scaling groups for machines and so on. So I thought it's gonna be I thought it can be interesting. What do you think? Stevens is dead.
Yeah, I no. Like, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Because for a period of time I was talking, but I think you couldn't hear me. I think. Do you think you can explain what this does? Like, I was listening, but I couldn't fully understand what is the purpose. So I don't know about the rest of the chat, but like I'm still confused what this is supposed to do. Is
what
this
we-
supposed to be like
We need to scale a cluster,
right?
wait for all the machines to be healthy and available,
Right.
and then redirect the traffic from this cluster to this cluster. Wait for the traffic
okay.
to pass, and then
Uh-huh.
kill this cluster.
Okay, got it.
Or we
Got
can
it.
continue working on what we worked on yesterday.
This one sounds interesting to me. The AWS DevOps, I would vote for this one. So
All right.
yeah, this one looks interesting to me.
What's the emote? I don't even know what's the emote thing that you're talking about, Matt. Sound interesting. How long would it take you to implement this change? Could you finish this during the stream? Yes, I can. I can finish it during the stream, of course, 100%. What is the emote that you're talking about? Is it like the kappa thing? I don't see a scrolling wheel. What's the scrolling wheel? Refresh what? All right. Boom. Refresh your chat. Refresh my chat. Ah, man. Doesn't matter. I don't care about the emotes, man. I care about net neutrality, but definitely don't care about the emotes.
Do you think you can share a screen on Skype?
Yes, I can share a screen.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
Okay. So you want to do that, or you want to do what we did yesterday?
I mean, personally, I'm leaning against the AWS work because I know this thing, it come and go, it's a production work. And also,
Everybody on the chat
it's
room is
very,
saying this, so you know I don't give a fuck about what you say. It's all about the people in the chat.
right, they're saying the same thing that
No.
I'm saying, right?
No, they're saying the
AWS
AWS
app.
one.
Yeah,
Oh, you're saying
that's what I'm voting.
Okay.
That's what I'm voting for.
Okay.
I'm voting for the AWS work.
Dude, it's like it wasn't clear. wait a second. No AWS or no comma AWS? I don't understand. I'm like so confused. It's like illegal to be so confused. I personally would want to see you start a project and walk us through the mindset of writing it all and breaking it down. Yeah. So this is what I'm trying to do. And this is why it's like a blank project. I'm going through the thought process. You're going to see me work on it from scratch, right? What language or languages do I need to learn for internet security? Every one of them. I just graduated and I'm doing another year. I want to see that as well, but with Node. Fuck that, man. I'm not going to work with the AWS API Node, man. No way. What are you talking about, man? Node is for fanboys. It's a toy language. All right, so it's for fanboys doing kiddie APIs.
That hurts feelings.
No, I'm kidding.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
We are over. Node is for fanboys. It's a toy language. Exactly. I mean, truth must be told. If we're honest here. Okay, so Are we gonna do the AWS shit?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
Can you
let's.
share your screen?
I did.
Oh, you did? Really?
Shit, man. Great. So let's talk about this AWS thing. I don't, guess what? I don't like middle-aged bald guys. Oh man. Man. This is becoming a bit of a it's going out of hand. All right. So great. So let's design this. So we're going to go with you. So we are going to work on the AWS task. Bam. All right. All right. All right.
Yeah. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Cool. So let's talk about this task. Right. We are going to work on the Node.js task. You work on the Node.js task, and we will work on the AWS task. Okay. So here is kind of the moving parts here, and we have a few concepts that we need to think about, right? We have an environment, right? And obviously
Yeah.
we have dev and staging and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
We have a tier, which I'm not going to go a lot into, but we basically have X, Y, and Z, and all of these are scaled separately. Okay? So it's basically this. X talks to Y, which talks to Z. Okay?
Okay.
And each of these, so X and Y and a Z, have an on and an off cluster.
Tier XYZ.
Okay?
XYZ are three separate environments?
Three separate tiers. So
Separate tiers.
environment is the top level, and then we have tier, and then the tier is X, Y, and Z, and inside of each tier there is an on cluster and an off cluster.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the on and off cluster are controlled by auto scaling groups on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Right. Three tiers. Every tier has two cluster, right?
Every tier has two clusters. One is on, one is off, right? Yes.
Yeah. So this 6 cluster here, and the on-off is controlled by the Amazon auto scaling group.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to break this apart. Now, I already have code for this, but it's like it's like, don't even get me started. It's just the worst, and it never works. So I'm gonna do it from scratch.
All right.
Okay, so I'm gonna do it from scratch, and let's go ahead and get started. Oh, I can't do that actually. I can't sit down.
Golang, please.
No.
I second that.
No.
And burst.
No, this is gonna be.
Isn't Golang good for this? I mean, to be honest, like if you had enough time, wouldn't you use Golang for this purpose?
So if this was just a task outside of the entire scope, yes. But I already have Python frameworks for all of this. So, and it needs to work inside of our CLI, and our CLI is written with Python. So what's going to happen is you work with the CLI, and then you need to scale up, and then you're going to need another CLI to scale up. That's the only reason I don't do it with Golang.
Right.
Other than that, then yeah, we'll do it with Golang. But let me tell you this. I mean, because Piers Hawthorne, thank you for the follow. Thank you. But I will say this: if someone has an idea for something that we can do in an hour with Golang, I would do it. I would do Golang. I mean, I don't care. We can definitely do Golang. And do something from scratch. I just don't have, you know what I'm saying? I just don't have the inspiration and like the idea to do something with Golang. Does somebody like have an idea to do something with Golang? We can do it. Do you have an idea? Is there something you want to do with Golang?
No.
Microservice with Golang? Okay, so microservice is Golang that does what? Let's say we need a microservice with Golang. Okay, what does it do? Special stream, thank you for the follow. You're awesome.
We can try to build a chat. Can we build a chatbot with Golang?
No, I don't want to build a chatbot. Everybody's building a chatbot.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Anything is easy. The question is, what do you want it to do? That's the thing. What do you want it to do? Write a compiler in 30 minutes.
You know what we
make
one
money.
Thing would be cool to do.
Green Armory, make money. So Green Armory, you can help that. There is a tip button in the bottom of the stream. You can do that without Golang. It's like HTML.
Hey, I have an idea. We could do a Golang service that takes all the chat history, every single chat, and then grab it and put it on the server. I don't know if Twitch already has a function that does that. And then that server will save all the chat history for later analytical purpose or whatever, you know. That would be like a short and small stuff to do.
Come on, man, CRUD. Ugh. Who cares?
Oh, that's what I can think of at the current moment. All right, or you can just go on with AWS, dude. Like we're like wasting time thinking about it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I would love to do something with Golang, but I just don't. I just don't have any like inspiration on something to do. That is like easy to write and we can do it in an hour, and it will still show you how, you know, how we do. Let me think. I don't know. I just don't have any. By the time, okay, great. AWS or Rage, great. Let's do it. Fuck it, let's do it. Okay, so let's go here and no, not here. Great, here, and then here. And let's split the screen here. Tmux new session. And split the screen here. And here. Okay, that looks somewhat good. Let me go here. Great, this looks even better. Okay, so what we want is essentially a way to scale up and scale down a cluster, but we need to also wait for the machines to be available, right?
Right.
Okay, great. So let's go here and open up Vim, and let's go to setup.py and scale. And we have scaling.main scale. So let's go to, and we'll do new scaling. Okay, and then scale. Okay, scaling main. Great. So let's do make dir -p globality new scaling. here, and we're going to create a globality, new scaling, and then main.py. Okay?
Okay.
Great. So the first thing I don't know why people like Vim. Watch me code for 30 minutes and then tell me. I mean, I'm not trying to be sarcastic here. Watch me code for 30 minutes, and then if you don't want to try Vim, I will give you $5. How is that? And here. Okay, so the first thing we need is to have arguments for this command, right? And let me think. Okay, so here's what a few things we need. One is we need from arg parse import argument parser, and then from boto3 import session, and then we will have scale here, which is not going to accept any arguments. Let's see what's going on in the Twitch. He showed us the last stream why Vim is good. He did something without it and then with it, and it was half the time. Really, that sounds cool. You use it? Yeah. All right. So, like I said, watch me code, and then tell me if you don't want to try Vim. And you know what? To make it even more interesting, let's do something else. Let me try something. Where am I? Here. Let me try something. Okay. Let's try. All right. So let's put that here. I'm getting distracted, and I shouldn't be, but sometimes that happens. All right. All right. So now okay, sure. So I can give a one-line description. So Boto is essentially the API to work with AWS. It's like the de facto standard for working with the AWS in Python. There it is. You can have that here. And argument parser is really simple. Argument parser just helps you parse arguments that are passed into a command. Okay, so we're going to use both of these right now. Okay. All right. So let me close. Let me try and just scale the chat down here, so I can read the chat while I code, and then I don't need to touch the mouse at all. All right. Okay, so we have a scale function, and then here we are going to have a parse arguments function. And in the parse arguments, essentially what we're going to have is we're going to have a command for up and a command for down, right? So these are kind of both things that we're going to need to do here. So we need to first do the command and then do the specifics of the command, right?
Okay.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna do this. Parser equals to argument parser, and of course I need this, and then sub parser equals to parser dot add sub parsers, because we need a sub command for up and down. Great. And then we have an up parser, which is going to be the sub parser dot add parser for up. And then here we're going to have the same for down. Okay.
Up parser, down parser. Okay.
The up parser, if we think about it, we need a desired count for how many machines do we want to scale up in that cluster. And for the down parser, we don't care about it. We don't need anything.
Okay.
But we also need a dry run. So we're going to add up parser dot add argument. And it's going to be dash dash dry run. Store action equals to store true, and this is going to be the up and down here as well, right? And then we need a way to understand whether we are in up or down, so we need a boolean. So up parser dot set default, and then this is this, so this is up equals true, and let's scale this back here, and then this one here is up and down G, and then this is false. And also here, what we need is the desired count. And actually, this should be the desired count. Now, I don't remember. So argument parser store integer. So let's do that. Argument parser for command line. This is what we want. So add argument integers, metavar, type int, blah, blah, blah. That's not what I want. Sum. Dest accumulate, action store. No, that's not what I want. Add argument, metavar equals n, type equals int. What is this thing? Okay. Destination accumulate. Okay, so I see here type equals integer. Number. Okay, so integer, let's see here. That's not what I want. Type equals int. Okay, so let's change this to desired, and then here type equals integer. I hope so. Type equals int, like so. Okay, cool. I don't see any question in the chat room. People, feel free to ask questions in the chat room. All right, so now we have args equals to parse arguments, like so, right? And then work on globality op scripts and scale dash dash help. In scale, you see we have an up and a down. So let's do scale up dash dash help, and we have no, it doesn't. It still doesn't do it. So let's do pip install dash e here. Okay, and scale up help. Okay, great. So now object has no attribute add sub parser. So now this one should be add sub parsers. Scale up dash dash help. So parser add. Oh, okay, got it, got it. I have a typo here. Add sub parsers like so. Scale up dash dash help. Okay, great. So then we return parser dot parse args like so. And when we do this, we have a scale up, and as you can see, we have a dry run and then desired.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome. So I'm actually not yet doing TDD. I'm not really implementing logic yet. All I'm doing right now is I'm just like doing the plumbing for the command. Let's see if we have any other questions. I wanted to ask your opinion on working a desk job and working from home. Advantages, disadvantages. I love working from home. I just love working from home. But it takes a lot of discipline to do it. It takes a lot of discipline to do it, and it takes a lot of trust from the company as well. By the way, the person that asked about Vim, let me know what you think now. You know that you can see kind of the flow. Okay, so now what we need is we need to add the tiers.
Okay.
Right? Great. So let's do this. For parser, let's do sub in sub parsers, right? So then we're going to do this. So here. So great. So now sub dot add argument, and we're going to need the profile. And the profile is our AWS profile. And our default is development.
Okay.
The next thing we need is the tier. And the default is going to be tiers plus all, which is going to come from here, right? So let's import that. So from globality.constant import all and tiers. And of course, that's not how we do it. And this is this one. And here, here, and here, and here, and here. Okay, so let's close this, tab this in, and tab this in. Great. And this would actually be down here, and this should be up here. Okay, so then we have the all and the tiers. So then this is the default for the tiers.
What do you mean default equals to tiers equals to all? Like, is that just a syntax thing, or is that a typo?
No, it should be a plus. This is a typo.
Right. It's really
so
confusing.
This is a plus. What else do we need? So we have a tier. Oh, we need an environment. So here we have a dash dash So this is let's make it a dash e, and default is going to be dev. Let's see questions on chat. Twitch. Twitch has emote for net neutrality. Yes, globality constant, globality ops script. This is the company I work for, Globality. If I leave now, I will be able to finish watching this later. It's nearly midnight. Yeah, yeah, you'll be able to watch it later. I have VOD turned on Twitch, so you can come back and watch it later. What else do we need? So we have an environment. So actually, choices here. And then here, this is E, and then dash dash environment. And choices is environment. So let's implement this here as well. Okay, so this is add argument for profile. Default is environment, and then environment, and choices is environment. And here we also have a default environment, and I missed who followed. Who followed? My God.
My
Shit.
God follow.
I missed it. I don't know who that was. Semi-official, I think. Okay, and then here. And here the default. All right, let's not do defaults for now. But let's do scale up and dash dash help. Sub parsers, sub parser dot parser parser. Oh, so this one should be in down parser and up parser, like so. And scale up. Great. So now we have a dry run, desired, profile, tier, and environment. And as you can see, it's already suggesting us the selections. You see this here and here. So now everything is kind of working as expected. Right?
Okay.
Now, we go back to the drawing board. I can't go back to the drawing board. Now my drawing board is my keyboard. Okay. So, let's say we are now on tier Y. Like I said, we have an on cluster and we have an off cluster. Each of these clusters has an auto-scaling group. Right? So let's call this cluster, I don't know, B, and this cluster is A. Right? Now, when we do scale up, we first need to understand which cluster do we need to scale up. Do you agree? So
Yep.
do we scale up this cluster or do we scale up this cluster? Which one do we scale up? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, going back to the drawing board, literally, yeah, literally drawing board. So we need to scale up the cluster A or cluster B. So first, we need to establish which one of these clusters is the one that's available, right?
Okay.
And why do I do it like this? Let's do it here. Okay. So in order to do this, we have a service that is giving us the active cluster, right? So we query the service. This gives us back the active cluster. And then we know, okay, the active cluster is A, scale up A. Okay?
So in this case, if you want to scale up, it will turn on cluster B as well, but cluster A will stay on, right? So you
Yes.
have two active
Yeah.
clusters.
So now I have two active cluster. What I'm going to do is I'm going to release to the new cluster. And then once the service is healthy, I'm going to scale down the old cluster.
So you're just switching. You're not really like um, increasing the capacity. You're just switching from one cluster to another.
Well, I'm increasing the capacity temporarily. So now instead of having 100 machines, I have 200 machines. I
And
have
then
100 on A and 100 on B. I'm going to release to A.
Correct.
It takes hours to release.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I see.
so then you do once you establish this is healthy, then you scale down B.
Okay.
Right?
I see what you
So
mean.
so here you query the service to say, hey, which one is pending active, right? And then you query and you say, hey, which one is like currently active? So then when you scale down, you essentially scale the other way around, right?
Yes. Just curious, why would you want to do this? Like just because the other cluster needs to rotate? Like you just want to rotate the machines?
There are many different there are many different reasons to do this.
Just give like one.
Yeah, sure. No, I'm not saying there are many reasons. Period. Let's continue. I'm saying there are many reasons. Comma. Let me finish what I'm trying to say. There are actually many reasons to do it, and let me just like name a couple of them. First is you never end up with stale machines that are running older version of Linux, older version of security updates, older versions of packages, older version of bullshit, right?
Okay.
You always, as you deploy, you always turn out new machines. Services, those machines are not pets. I don't give a shit about them. I care about the services that are deployed to them. I don't care about the machine, right? So no, we don't need to restart. We don't need to restart. That's not why. So that's one. The second is we always have where is it? So corp globality packer. So you see this, we have a globality packer. This is open source, by the way. And you see we have a packer, so this will create a new AMI for us. And we constantly change this, like this literally from 8 hours ago, right? And nothing really crazy changed. But you can see, you know, let's go this here. Okay. So you can see someone changed this like 8 hours ago. So now in order to do this, you need to create a new auto scaling group configuration, and that will only happen on new machines. No, that's not like Kubernetes. So Kubernetes is what's deployed on those machines. What I'm saying now, this is machines. Like this is literally the underlying infrastructure. I'm not talking about services. This is machines. This is the underlying Amazon infrastructure that's like running all of our services. Okay, so that's one, updates and getting new machines. The second is that you want to deploy your entire application infrastructure to new machines and check that it is healthy without disturbing the other running cluster. Right? So think about when you have a monolithic application, it's easy. When you have monolithic, you just deploy that monolithic application, and if it restarts, you know, if it starts up, it's good. If it doesn't start up, it's not good, right? But when you have many services that are sometimes dependent on each other and sometimes they're not dependent on each other, some of them need to talk to this queue that doesn't even exist on that cluster, right? And some of them need to talk to this database, and this database doesn't even exist on that cluster because that cluster is running the old version of our infrastructure. This is like literally a month ago or 2 weeks ago or whatever. This is deprecated. This is like junk. You know what I'm saying? So what you want is to first like prepare the environment, right? So you want to prepare the environment. You want to run the new databases. You want to make sure that everything is running correctly. You want to add the queues that you need to add. You want to add the machines that you need to add. You want to scale this up, deploy to this cluster. And then once you establish this cluster is healthy, you basically replace the DNS entries, the internal DNS entries, between the cluster A and then cluster B. So now all of your machines are now in cluster B and you scale down cluster A.
Got it.
So again, let's not confuse services with instances. So instances are the underlying infrastructure. Services are deployed on top of instances using a scheduler. So Kubernetes is a scheduler. All it does, it places pods on instances, right? But for Kubernetes to work, then you need instance. So again, Nomad, Kubernetes, ECS doesn't matter. What I'm saying is all of this is a layer below all of what you guys are saying, right? So we have a scheduler. We work with a scheduler. All of our instances are Docker containers. It's not, we're not like working like amateurs here. All of our instances are Dockerized, and we have a scheduler, and all instances have versions and so on and so forth. But we deploy our all of our like new releases to brand new infrastructure.
I think people are confused. Like when he talk about cluster here, he's literally talking about like physical machines. So
Yeah.
it's like switching. Like for example, he has like 30 physical machine running at AWS. He has another group B is another 30 machine. He wants to like turn on the other 30 machine, move the service to the other 30 machine, and then turn off the previous 30 machines.
Yeah.
So that's like what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I think this way maybe people will understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a lower level infrastructure, like, you know. So yeah, go on.
Yep. Okay, so if everything is clear, then we can continue.
Go on.
Okay, great. So the next thing we want to do is we want to start a session. So we're going to say session equals to session, and profile name equals to args dot profile. And essentially this starts a new Boto session. So where am I? This Boto? No, this is args parser. Where is Boto? Boto 3 Python. So Weekeeps, are you still here? Let me know if you're still here, and if this helps you, like how do I start a project and how do I tear apart like tasks. All right. So as you can see, this is the session, and all I'm doing is creating a new session. So session here, right? So then I start a client, and the client is going to be EC2. So then I can scale up the client like so. All right. So now here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say def set capacity, and I'm going to say that I need the args and I need the session like so, and then set capacity, and I need the args and I need the session. All right. Cool. So now what we need is to call the auto scaling group and set the desired capacity on the auto scaling group to be the desired capacity that we have lying around.
Okay.
And for that, we need to establish what is our ASG that is currently up and running. All right, so let's do that. how do we want to do that? So everything on the Amazon API, just so we'll understand, and again, I'm following my promise to do everything from scratch here. So here's, an internal implementation of something you need to understand about the standardization of our cluster, right? So I said we have an X, Y, and Z tier, and we have a Y and B cluster, right? So our auto-scaling group are named Y, A, Env. All right, and then Y, B, Env. Okay?
Right.
So this is our name of the auto-scaling group.
Right.
And what we need to do is we need to query the Amazon API, grab the auto-scaling groups, and then search for the one that we know we need based on the service from here. Right? That will show us what is the current running cluster. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then so we know, right? So this is coming from the outside, and this is coming from the outside, and the service establishes this part, right?
Yeah.
And then the service establishes this part, but the problem is that I still need to paginate that API.
Okay.
There is
because
no
you wouldn't be able to get everything in one call?
No. There is no dependency between tiers. They can be scaled up and down independently. No dependency at all between tiers. I mean, there is a dependency between tiers, but you can scale up the pending tier without causing havoc, creating havoc in the other tier. Twitch. Very nice to watch a master at work. Thank you. How you're thinking about now? I assume I would already be written in the whiteboard or notepad, but I see how when you get stuck, you stop coding. So I don't get stuck. And I don't say that because I never get stuck, but I don't get stuck now. What I'm trying is I'm trying to verbalize my thoughts. I would be more than comfortable doing this without the whiteboard. But what I'm trying to do is this is like an interactive process. So I'm trying to communicate what I'm thinking. So what I'm doing here with this is basically communicating what I'm thinking. This is all implementation details that are well, in my mind now. So I don't really need to do it. But I do it for you. Okay, so all right, so okay, so we have already an internal service that does that, and that service is already exposed. So I'm gonna do this from globality.inventory import get current color. And what is going on? What? Okay. So this is the current color. And then this one is going to be ASG name. And then this is going to be find the ASG name. And this is going to need the args.tier and args.environment. Here. And then the current color. So current color. And current color is going to be get current color with args.tier and args.environment. So let's do this. Get current so get current color. It has, oh, I need the session as well. So session and then tier environment and args.up, because this will return the service. But what I want to do now in order to do this is print current color. And I want to stop here and see how that goes. All right, so scale up dash dash help. Let's see. Get current color. Globality inventory cannot get current color. Oh yeah. Okay. So dot color. All right. So now scale up dash dash tier frontend dash e dev dash dash profile development dash dash desired to. All right, so you see what happens now? It is telling me, hey, I don't have a key for this, you know, for this profile. An error occurred when calling get object operation specified key does not exist. So profile development. Okay, boto and then here. Okay, so it's still telling me that no such key. Where am I? Where am I? So client and then color line 38. Okay. Oh. Okay. So this front end is wrong. So this should be service. Okay. So you see I'm getting green. All right. So green is essentially like cluster A.
All right.
Okay, cool. So now we can get the current color. This is already coming from AWS, just so we'll understand, right? So we're already talking to AWS here. So this is current color. And then we have the ASG name is the tier, the color, and then the environment. So this is format to tier and environment. No, it's a tier, color, and environment. Like, what's going on? Environment. No, this is not good. Environment, like so. Cool. So now tier equals args.tier and environment equals to args.environment and up equals to args.up. Args and this to nothing. Okay, great. So now we have a session, we have this and this and this, and we can print the ASG name. So let's do this. ASG name, blah, blah, blah. What's going on? Color is not defined, and it's true because this is color. And do this. Okay, service green dev, amazing. So now we have our auto-scaling group already. I mean, we have the name of it. We don't have it yet. So what we need to do is we need to go get it from the AWS API, right? So like I promised, I'm doing everything from scratch. So let's go here and let's go to EC2. EC2, there it is. You see?
Okay.
And then we have auto scaling here. Auto scaling. And then we have the client auto scaling, and then we probably have and update auto scaling group. Update auto scaling group, and then we accept quargs. Okay, so we have a response which is going to be update auto scaling group name to string, launch configuration name to string, and desired capacity, default cooldown. So I guess all I need to do is to really send the desired capacity here.
Desired capacity.
Yeah.
Why is that a integer? Like, does that mean how many machines?
Mm-hmm. What?
Okay.
What?
No, but like, let's say group B, don't you already have a predefined capacity? That's what I was imagining. Like, I have like 50 machines in group B.
No, group B is 0. If group A is up, then group B is 0.
Oh, so the capacity is undefined. Like, you can scale to whatever you want.
Yeah.
Got it.
No, I don't care what I have. All I care is what I passed in as a desired capacity.
Okay.
Okay, so basically what we need here. Okay, so let's go back to the drawing board, and I will explain before I do anything. Okay, why is this like task not as simple as it looks, right? Because once you update the auto scaling group, so update ASG, once you update and you say, okay, now the capacity I want is 100, that's it, right? That's the magic of Amazon.
Yeah.
Once you do that, that's it. Like, you can go to grab a coffee and those machines will be ready, right? In 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 7 minutes or whatever. Those machines are going to be ready. But what I care about is when those machines are ready. And I want my script to exit only when those machines are ready. Now, let me explain to you why sometimes working with the Amazon API is incredibly brutal. Okay? So, first you set the capacity.
Right.
Great. That's it. Focus. Focus. Okay. First you set the capacity. Right? Then you need to check number of instances. Lots of words. Right? Check number of instances. Did we lose everybody in the chat? I mean, the chat is really quiet. Did we just lose everybody, or are you guys still around and caring about what we do here? Because if you don't care, then I can go to sleep.
Still here?
Okay. By the way, people that are new here, please feel free to ask questions in the chat room. I mean, this is interactive. If you have feedback on my thought process, on my boldness, on my whatever, then please feel free. All right. So then we need to check the number of instances, right? But the number of instances that are currently on the load balancer is, even if you return back 100 instances, those instances might not be ready. So just because the auto scaling group considers those instances as ready instances, those are not ready instances as far as your software is concerned.
Okay.
All right. Now, every instance on the on AWS by default requires 2 health checks.
Right.
Okay. Now, those 2 health checks, doesn't matter what they are. It's like details. They're not something that you define or anything like that, but every one of them requires 2 health checks. So when the number of instances that return from the API for the auto scaling group is 100, that doesn't mean that your job is ready. So then you need to check the instance health, right? So in order to check the instance health, what you need is to describe that instance, right? You need to describe that instance and you need to understand something about that instance. Now, what is the problem? Again, we go back to what is the problem. The problem is that the AWS API, when you describe the instances on the load balancer, on the auto scaling group, will only return instance IDs. It will not return the status of the instance. That is the nature of how distributed the Amazon API is. It will only return instance IDs. It will not return the state of the instance as far as your software is concerned. So again, what you need is to set the capacity, wait. Check the number of instances, wait. Only when that number of instances is the number of instances you wanted, you continue. And then you check the instance IDs, which might or might not be equal to this. Right? Because what happens is that sometimes you can get 100 instances, but you're not getting those instance IDs because they don't have IDs yet. Right?
Okay.
So then you get the instance IDs, and then you describe the instances on the AWS API, right? So you describe. But, and here comes it again, when you describe, you can't just like blankly send all those instance ID. You need to group them into, I think, groups of 100 and then grab the instance health one by one. Right? One group by group by group. That's what I mean.
Why do you group by 100? What if I have like 20 machines?
Oh, doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is if you have 200, you need to group by 100.
All right.
That's what I'm saying, right? If you have 20, you're only going to set one group. But if you have 200, what I'm saying is your code, and this is, and I think this is a great example of the way I think as someone, and again, this is like years of experience speaking, right? Because what happens is you're going to say, okay, I have 20, who cares, right? So you're going to send 20, but then tomorrow when you need 200, your service will just break. And the thing is, it will break at the moment when you need it the most. And DevOps scripts, they need to be airtight because when they will fail when you need them the most, right? When you will fail to scale is when you need to scale. When you will fail to launch machine is when you need to launch machines. When production is down, not when dev is up, right? So then you need to think about those things ahead of time. And this is why I'm like, wait a second. You need to group that by 100. And then you're like, wait, but I only have 20. True. Today you have 20, but it creeps up on you.
All right. No, I see. That makes sense. It can't break. Like, you just need it to work when you need it to work. You know, the margin of error is really small.
Exactly. Okay, so that's the kind of the problem with the AWS API. This is why it's amazing, but this is also why it's incredibly frustrating to work with. Let's see. I'm sorry about all those wires, but like this camera setup is pretty gnarly. Okay, so I don't know how many people do we have live, but I feel we need to take a break and say hello to people. We lost about everybody. Okay, we still have a few. So if you're still here, so why use 20 or 100? Why not use a variable that you can change? Exactly, it doesn't matter. Because one day it's going to be 100, one day it's going to be 200. But that's it. What I'm saying is you still need to group. That group number, that group count is still, hey PST, is still going to be, a variable. But what I'm saying is you still need to prepare for that.
And so you're saying that like it won't accept anything over 100, right?
No.
If you have 120, you're gonna send it with two groups: a group of 100 and a group of 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's what you're saying. Yeah, I understand. Correct.
All right. So first things first, we need to do this, right? So auto scaling group, and then update the capacity. So here we do this. This is ASG equals to session.client EC2. And then I think it's auto scaling group. What did I want to do? No, it's auto scaling. Auto scaling, like so. Yep, that's what it is. All right, so ASG equals session.client, and then we need to get this. So response equals to ASG dot update auto scaling group, and then let's close this here. And what we need is desired capacity. So desired capacity equals to desired count, and desired count is coming from args.desired. And here we need to start with our dry run. So if dry run, so then here we're gonna have dry run equals to args.dry run. Great. And then if it's dry run, then no. So if not dry run, then do this. Else let's do print scaling up this to this. So this is ASG name, and this is desired count. FL wow is saying wow. That's so meta, man. So meta. All right, so now let's do this, and then dash dash dry run. And let's do, I don't know, 20 here. If not dry run, what did I do? What did I do here? Oh, damn, man. This is not JavaScript. All right, so this is here. Scaling up, blah, blah, blah. Of course, I forgot something small. Format here and here. Scale up, and then it will tell me scaling up service green dev to 20. All right. So now, if I will remove the dry run, it will actually scale up my cluster to 20 machines. So
right.
What I want to do is I want to say that the desired is 12 and do that, and input auto scaling group name. Oh, all right. So then FL wow, thank you for the follow. Auto scaling group name is ASG name here, and this one, and scale up desired to 12, scaling up. All right, so what you can see here that now we get an error. This error is coming from the AWS API, and what you see here that it's the max is 10, and I try to set it at 12.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is we want to set the max size to the desired count as well, in order to bypass that. Scaling up, done. That's it. We're scaled up, right? Now we are on the complicated things. All right. And so this is the beauty of Amazon, right? Now, like in the background, someone gave us 12 machines, right? Now they actually gave us 2 more machines, but doesn't matter. What I'm saying is like we're done. So it's kind of as far as what you would need to know normally is that okay, I'm done. My dog decided to bark. So as far as she doesn't really stop. Can you hear her?
Yeah, Kramer is barking.
Yeah.
I think there's a thief in your house.
No thief in my house. Okay, so now what we need is to get to the auto scaling group and describe auto scaling instances. You see this?
Yeah.
Describe auto scaling instances. And here, you see here we have instance IDs. Oh, look at this. So it's 50. It's not even 100. You see this?
Okay.
But
up to 50.
Dude, I don't know what you're like writing here. Let me see. What the fuck is that?
Isn't that Hebrew?
I think it's Russian. Google Translate. He and the mouse are not needed. No. Oh, that's good. All right, let's see. FLWOW, what are you saying? Yeah, I'm like using Google Translate. This is the dual keyboard. Okay, cool. So now we need to describe auto scaling groups. And what will this return? So this will return the instances. You see? So this will return the instances, and this will return instance IDs. You see this?
Yeah.
So now we're going to do some like cool Python. So what I want to ask you, Stevens. So here you describe auto-scaling groups. And then you get an array of auto-scaling groups. And inside the array of auto-scaling groups, you have an array of instances.
Correct.
And in instances, you have instance ID.
Right.
So how would you write this with like whatever, like Ruby or Python or like Java? Wikibs, you can participate as well, and everybody in the chat room, you can participate as well. So you have a nested array you wanna access, yeah, I want to show you like the magic of Python here. But what I'm saying is, how would you go about doing this with like regular, I don't know, Ruby or whatever?
Well, like with Ruby, I would just like collect the items, sort of like loop through the actual instance hash, or yeah, and then just get the instance ID. I mean, that's
Right.
what
So
I
I
would
want
do.
to show you something really, really nice with Python. Okay?
Okay.
So here, let's do this one. Describe client something something. So this is going to be response equals, no, it comes back as a JSON object, equals to asg.this. What? I pasted the, what is going on? This one. Okay. So this one, and then this is the auto scaling group name. So let's go 8 lines down and paste this in, and we actually need this only indented up to here, and this is really only indented up to here. Okay, so then this will give us this one, which is this, and then auto scaling group, and then something, 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 right? So then we can do instances equals to this. You see this? And then for ASG in response auto scaling groups, right?
Okay.
So for ASG in this, and then for instance in ASG instances, and then here we have instance ID, I think. ID. So then I think, but let's see. Auto scaling group name must be one. Oh, this is now auto scaling group name. So now for the described, we need an array. Auto scaling group names. And then this becomes an array. So then we need another level of indentation here, here, and here, and here. We can remove this. Great. So let's do that. All right. So instances. Oh, okay. Got it. So then let's do print instances here.
So this will just
Look at that.
loop. Okay.
Look
I see.
how like you know what I'm saying? Like this when I first came to Python, I was like, "Whoa. Wait a second. What is going on here?" You know what I'm saying? So look at this code, right? So look at this code here. So you're getting instance ID, but you're looping first and then you're looping second, right?
Second loop.
And then you get the object. So look at that. I mean, we got the instances IDs basically looping twice. Boom, look at that. I mean, how elegant is that?
Yeah, it's clean. But Ruby kind of does similar things, right? It's like fetch,
No, it's not like fetch. There is no other language that I know that does this.
But what is a nice thing about it? It's just syntactically it's cleaner, right?
Yeah, just think about it. You have to, you would have to do this with like this, right? So for ASG here, right? So then first you would say instance IDs equals to this, right? So we keeps, if you're here, look at this code, right? So then you would do this, right?
Yeah.
And then you would do for instance in ASG instances.
Yeah.
Here. And then you would do instance IDs, like with Ruby, you would do this, and then instance ID, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Like so.
Okay. Yeah. No, I see.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's much cleaner.
And here you basically just collect this into a nice little list. Okay, so this is cool, and now we have the instance IDs. Now describe auto scaling instances. Describe auto scaling instances. What does this give us? So this gives us health status is healthy. Now this is bullshit. You see this?
Okay. Bullshit.
So this health is healthy. It means that the instance is healthy as far as the ASG is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the instance is concerned, that's not healthy. All right, so let's see what's happening in the chat. Let's take a break here. Kenso Dev, what is the name of the language feature in Python? I don't know. Generators? I don't know. Python generators list. I don't know. Yeah, something like that. You see, like return something for something in something. Um, so I think it's called generators, but I'm not sure. Like, I know how to do it. I don't know how it's called. I'm a self-taught engineer. You know what I mean? I don't know the academia behind it. How many people do we have live, by the way? Like 5? Is WeKeep still
Mm,
around with us? WeKeeps, are you still here? What is going on? Why are people so quiet? People
getting late.
count has been steady. Maybe a list comprehension. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it's called. Great. So, um, WeKeeps, let me know what you think. You kind of see the thought process here, and you saw this thought process and kind of how things are going. So let me know what you think. Great. So now we need to call EC2 and then EC2 instance, I think. And here we have describe instances here. Okay, so describe instances, and we have a filter and instance IDs. All right, so instance IDs. Instance IDs, great. Ah, shit, that's not what I wanted. Describe instances. Wait. Describe instances. Describe instances. Okay, instance IDs, affinity. That's not what I want. Instance ID, the ID of the instance. What are the limitations here? That's what I'm kind of trying to look at. One or more instance IDs. Default describe all your instances. Okay, that's great. Describe all my instances. That's smart. Oh. So first thing we need here is to check whether we even have instances lying around. We need to wait until we have all of them. Right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the first thing we're gonna need to do here. I don't know if we're gonna take care of that now. So let's do describe instances. So describe instances here. Okay, so then we have an instance IDs. And what does this return? Okay, so this will return. You see here again, you have reservations, and then inside reservations, you have instances, and inside instances, you have the list of instances, and then inside of the instances, you have, you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So inside the instances, you have status something. Where is that? State reason. I don't know what that is. Where is that? Network, not network. Attachment, no, not attachment. Where the hell is it? So state, there it is. Name, you see? Pending or running. But that's not exactly what I want. Monitoring. Oh man, where is it? So not instance lifecycle. I know it's nested, but I just don't see. Oh, there it is. The status. Status is available, or you see this one. So where is it?
And this is This is the reliable health check.
Yeah, this is what we want. Where is it?
Okay.
Ah, man, what happened here? All right, just a second. I zoomed out. Okay, there it is. You see, stopped, terminated, pending, running. This is what we want. So the name should be running. Terminated, stopping, stopped. I'm okay. Um. Okay, so what I want to do essentially is change this to instance IDs. And then go to EC2, right? So then EC2 equals to session.client EC2. And then response equals to EC2 dot describe instances. And then go here. And instance IDs equals to instance IDs, like so. And then instance status equals to, and we can do the same kind of magic, right?
Yep.
So what do we have here? We have reservations. So for res in response reservations. And then for instance in res instances. And then instance in use, where is it? Network, where is it again? So state name. So then instance state name. And then let's print instance status. All right. Running.
Cool.
All right, cool. So what we want now is to do this. Okay, so let's say that here, where am I? And we're gonna refactor this in a bit, but so running state equals to running. All right. And then we are going to filter. And I never remember the syntax, but let's say Python array filter. I never ever remember the syntax. So set for blah, blah, blah. If not, no, that's not what I want. I want a lambda. This is what I want. All right. So then we have healthy equals to filter lambda x. X not in subset of blah, blah, blah. And what I want is x equals to running. And then let's say print. We have healthy instances dot format healthy. And this is of course not healthy, but len of healthy. right, let's go. Print, 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 print. What's going on? What did I do wrong? Oh, here. Great. Filter expected 2 arguments, got 1. Ah, man. Instance status. All right. Object filter. Oh, okay. Damn, filter healthy. And then this is instance status. Okay, so we have 12 healthy instances. Okay, cool. So now what we do here is if len of instance status equals to desired capacity, right? So desired here. By the way, I want to show something here. And this is why I never use, almost never use autocomplete. Look how slow it is versus like typing, right? So let's say I have if len of instance, right? And then I try to use something. If it's the first one, great. But if not, equals like desired. Look how like sometimes it takes ages to do it. But if I do if len instance status equals to desired, it will always be faster than print all instances are healthy. All right, so if then print all instances are healthy, and desired, where is desired? Desired is called desired count. So this is desired count. And scale up, bam, all instances are healthy. Okay, what we need to do now is really simple, and we're not going to bore our viewers with it. But basically what we need to do is we need to just wrap this function with a loop. I mean, that's basically it. So this function is going to call itself every time until the instances are ready. So we are done. What you can see here is we scale up our cluster. We check which cluster is healthy. What do you mean you want to see it? You want to see how I call the function in a loop? What do you want to see? New scaling main. So all we really need to do here is to grab this one and just call it again. That's it. How would you idle while you wait for your instances to come up? So what I would do is I would just sleep here. And here I would do exit with a status of 0. And if not, then what I would do is I would just sleep here for like, I don't know, 10 seconds and then call this function again. So here, set capacity with args and the session. That's it.
Cool.
Just a simple waiter. We don't need to... and this would be like, then I need to import os.exit or, you know, here, import exit from os and blah, blah, blah. That's it. Nothing crazy. It's just like calling a function in a loop. Nothing here is crazy. So, you know, to sum up what we've done here, and what we've seen here is, and this is something I wanted to do on, and I think I do it every stream. And I think now with me doing Python, what have we done on the stream? We've done
Golang.
JavaScript, client side and server side. We've done CSS, HTML. Well, I don't know if those are considered languages, right? We've done Golang. We've done Python.
Yeah.
We worked with AWS. We worked with Postgres, MongoDB. We worked with SQLize, Mongoose, Express. Um, like we're out there. You know what I mean? It's like it's out there. But what I want to do is I want to sum up really quickly, kind of what we did here. Big picture is I took a task that was clear in terms of big picture, but really wasn't clear in terms of the details of it. And the details of it, we took it apart, right? And the thing is, and this is what I want you guys to take from here, or what I hope you guys to take from here. I didn't try to think at my on my problem as a whole. What I said is, okay, I need to get the autoscaling group name. That's the first thing. That's it. Once I have that, I will continue, right? I don't care about the rest. I don't care about the rest of the details. They don't matter to me right now. Once I have the autoscaling group name, I can continue. All right, so I had the autoscaling group name. Once I had the autoscaling group name, I looked up how do I check whether this autoscaling group name is sorry, how do I update this autoscaling group, right?
Yeah.
And then I update the autoscaling group. Once I update the autoscaling group, that now I'm on another problem, right? The other problem is how do I check the instances, right? And then we did this nice little Python composition here with this one, right? This is so nice. I mean, guys, you don't understand how much code you need to write without this Python composition or even this, and this is like so nice. I mean, Python is really so nice. So and also kind of all right, so let's go back here. So you saw me kind of deconstruct the problem into the smallest pieces possible, and then work through them one by one. I used the whiteboard, and I verbalize my thoughts, right? And what I wanna, emphasize is that I would do that even if I wasn't talking, to you or talking to Stevens. I wouldn't, write on a whiteboard or necessarily, talk to myself, but I would still go through that step by step the same way that I've done now. So this is why this stream comes so natural to me, right? Because it's not messing with my workflow in general. It's not messing with how I do things in general. It's just like a bit more tools. It's a bit more like showing the whiteboard. It's a bit more showing my keyboard. It's a bit more, like even like small details, like my font would be smaller, my screen would be bigger. So I would do things much faster than what I would do here on the stream, but still the process would be almost exactly the same as it is now. And this is where Steven's brain usually explodes. We're like 2.5 hours in.
Burned.
So
Burning sensation in my brain.
yeah, so it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot, right?
Yeah.
So what did you
It's
find?
good.
What did you find like challenging here? What was new to you here?
I think the most interesting thing for me is like how the scaling works. How you would handle like scaling up and scaling down, and work with AWS API. I think, to be more specific, I think the way we get the health state of the AWS API, it looked pretty overwhelming, like when you were describing it, right? Like you would feel overwhelming, like to without the code, right? To look at the API documentation, is oh, okay, there's like a bunch of stuff I need to
No,
go through.
but this is exactly what I'm saying, right? If you try to understand the AWS API, you're gonna fail. I will fail, right? But if you try to understand, hey, how do I get this one detail? Then you just look up that one detail. You know what I mean? This is exactly what I'm trying to emphasize here.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, why do I deconstruct this? I deconstruct this to learn as little as possible about the AWS API. I deconstruct this to get what I need to just like this one little detail that I can go learn about, that I can go read about, and then just get it. You know what I mean? If I try to understand like how scaling, I don't try to understand how scaling works. You know what I mean? I don't try to understand how AWS works. I don't. I just do what I need to do.
Yep. Makes sense.
And this is what kind of what I try to emphasize the most here. Is that you need to simplify that workflow and simplify that the way you do things. All right, so we're gonna end it here. It's been fun today. I don't know how many people do we have here, you know, we usually open it up to questions at the end. Not that it's close to question before. So WordPad 25. You should check out our YouTube channel, and also our Discord, and come join us. It's fun. Questions? People in the chat room, questions? Steven's questions?
Nope. Not at this moment.
All right.
Yep.
We keeps. Did you kind of get what you wanted to get out of this? All right. Matt has a question above. Should my post still be... No, your post should be to game category without the edit. Or should post request not have params? Your post should not have the edit in it. Okay, cool. We keep stat. That's awesome. I hope you understood the thought process. It's like, I don't write code that I don't understand. I think that's the best tip. I write code after I understand what I want my code to do. I think that's the best tip I can give here. And so Matt, your post should not have edit. It should just be game category. That's it. Post should be game category. All right. So we're gonna say goodnight here. Thank you all of you for being here. See you on the Discord, and we will be here tomorrow at 8 p.m. PST. All right. Bye, Stevens. Bye, guys. Bye, everybody.